Coming to you from an abandoned amusement park. The horror. It's the Little Podcast of Horrors with James, Christina, and Chris.
All right. Welcome to Little Podcast of Horrors, my
I'm James.
people.
Good to know. Good to know. I'm Chris.
I'm K-Mac.
She's the K-Man.
See, I was on it this time.
You were
Yeah,
on.
you sure were.
This is episode 8 of Little Podcast of Horrors. So yeah, Christina's going to be weaving her tale this episode.
Yes. It will probably be a short tale. So
Hey, but it'll be good. I have no
you
doubt.
just need something quick for your commute or potty breaks. It'll be a good one.
Are you stuck in traffic right now? Well, get ready. We're going to get you through this with Little Podcast of Horrors. Please like and subscribe.
Stuck on the can?
Are you stuck on the potty and you
On the potty.
you don't have, and you're out of
Two
toilet
of you are
paper.
clearly parents.
You're out of toilet paper and you don't know what to do. Well, while you think of it, or a solution presents itself, well, here we are. Just listen. You might crap yourself twice. Get it really out of there.
Okay. Well, anyway, so my story today is about the hellhound of Bungay, England, also known as the Black Shuck, Harry Jack, or Barguest. I'm
This
not
makes
really
me
sure
think of
how
the
to say
Hounds
that
of
one.
Baskerville. Be like,
And you know what? Sir Arthur Conan Doyle did base that hound loosely on like the Black Shuck myths, and in particular there was one in an area and I can't remember what it was, but it's
oh
kind
my
of
gosh,
related.
okay. I'm a big,
Yeah.
huge Sherlock Holmes fan. I've read the books and love the movies and the shows, and I've always, I love Hounds of Baskerville. Yeah, that's awesome.
I will not talk about that anymore, but that is something that I saw while I was
That's
doing my
fine.
research
It's
for
enough.
this
It's
episode.
enough for me.
All right. So before we actually get into the incident at Bungay, England, let's talk a little bit about the Black Shuck. And I'm going to call it the Black Shuck just because that's kind of how I've always heard it. So I'm used to it. And there you go. So the Black Shuck comes from English folklore. It's basically just a big ass like ghost dog that roams the British Isles.
Ghost dog.
And he shucks
Yeah.
corn.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to research that and get back to you, James. So a Black Shuck sighting may signify the impending death of the viewer. So
Oh,
generally, yeah. So generally it's seen as a harbinger of like doom, a bad omen to see a Black Shuck.
I've heard of this. Like big black dog. It's a grim. It's
Mhm.
the sign of death.
Yeah. But also depending on the person, it could also be a guardian for you and your property. So it really two extremes. I don't know.
Cool.
Okay, so this bit I'm going to try to do better about citing my sources because I don't want to steal people's intellectual property. So this next bit comes from an article by William DeLong that was on the website All That's Interesting. So the Black Shuck is typically, described as a giant black hound, sometimes as big as a horse with large glowing red eyes, kind of like shadow people, and usually foaming at the mouth like he's rabid. The Black Shuck pretty much always appears really suddenly, as if out of nowhere, and then disappears just as quickly. So he's jumping that ass.
He's jumping that ass.
Yes. Okay, so the Black Shuck was first mentioned in a text dating back to 1127. So it's a little event that was documented that occurred in this town called Peterborough. So the town folks referred to this event as the Wild Hunt, which you may have heard elsewhere, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Wild Hunt. But So the town folk documented like roughly like 30 hunters rolling into town and hanging out in the woods in the area. And they had large black horses with giant, hideous black dogs. And they hunted in the forest for roughly like 50 days, they said. Okay, so let's talk about the wild hunt a little bit. So the wild hunt is not just a British thing. So a lot of European, particularly like Northern European countries, talk about wild hunts. So it's believed to be linked to the transition between fall and winter. So there are some common themes. So like the large pack of hunters on large black horses with large black dogs roaming around the woods. Some of the details that typically change are like who's leading it. So it just kind of depends on the area. So if you're Norse, it would be Odin leading this wild hunt. If you're English, it is Herne the Hunter, which is like a ghost, I guess, that the English knew about. I don't know.
And if you're Polish, Geralt is there. Because the wild hunt is also the theme of The Witcher 3.
Oh, awesome. Okay. I've not played those games, but yeah. So it's pretty common, like lore. So it said that if you witness the wild hunt or if you come upon it, it's also a bad omen. It can mean your death, or it can mean like war coming up. Like it can be small or it can be large, but destruction, basically. Some also believe that like if you came upon the wild hunt, then you would be snatched up and taken to the Fey realm. And in other areas, you're snatched up and taken to the underworld. So the wild hunt's like really connected to the dead. And I don't know
if this has any connection to like Serbius, you know,
Aren't-
because he's a big
no,
black. Although he's a
aren't-
three-headed dog, but he's always portrayed as like big, black, red eyes.
Aren't the Fae like fairy-like or something?
yes, but back in the day, the Fae were actually like tied to the underworld and the dead. Like they
Okay,
were
because I'm like, if
connected.
the two options are fairyland or hell, it's like, I'm gonna go hang out with some fairies.
Hang out
Hey,
with
you
the
don't know.
fairies.
Hell might be more fun. No, no.
The
A lot of
underworld
interesting
doesn't
people,
have
no?
to be bad.
They're all like fairyland. They're all like singing and happy, you know, like I don't know.
But Chris, keep that Cerberus comment in mind because
Okay.
I have a little bit more to talk about that in just a second. That's kind of related. The wild hunt myth was probably created to keep people inside because, like I said, it seemed to be really tied to the transition between fall and winter. So, you know, in Northern Europe, it gets super freaking cold. So if you're caught outside when it's wintertime, the result is death. So it was really just like to keep people from wandering off, a lot like a lot of lore and myths are about the wild. And then, you know, so like the sounds of howling winds could have been like the howls of the hounds, you know, of the wild hunt. All right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Got to keep those kitties inside. Okay. Freezing to death is not scary enough.
Well, yeah, we got to scare the shit out of these children so they won't go and get themselves killed.
Don't sneak out and go necking in the woods, you know. Isn't that the old term? Like making out in the woods, necking.
Those that dying dogs gonna get you if you have impure thoughts.
Yeah.
You quit thinking about Abigail. You can't have her. Demon dog's gonna get you. Or wait, I should be like, the demon dog's gonna get you. You stop thinking about Abigail, you know, right? No, it's not until no.
Naughty.
Okay. Naughty.
All right, so let's get back to the Hellhound attacks at Bungay, England. Okay, so in 1577, in Bungay, England, which is now modern day Suffolk, a congregation
Suffolk.
is that how you say it? Suffolk?
Yeah, it's Suffolk.
I thought Bengay was
Suffolk.
a cream.
It is a cream.
Chris, you're the English guy. Is it Bungay?
I'm not sure, but I do know that's with the L is silent in Suffolk. It's just
Okay.
Suffolk. So.
Is it the same way with Norfolk? Is it?
Yes.
Norfolk. Come on down to Norfolk. We get all Norfolky up here. Freaking just fucking rains all of me. It's Norfolk. It's Norfolk. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody listening? I'm not really from England, but I'm a.
He likes to be a fraud.
I'm a fraud. I'm actually a great lover of England. There's a term for it. I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah. So Norfolk and Suffolk.
Okay, cool. So, in Suffolk, a congregation was attacked by a giant black dog. So the dog like ran around the church and bit 2 churchgoers on the neck, like killing them instantly, supposedly. So, okay, here's how Black Shuck entered. And I think this is so metal. Okay. He busts down the doors of the church just as a bolt of lightning strikes in the background. Yeah.
Sending 1.21 gigawatts into the bolt, into the flux capacitor, sending him back to 1985.
So that freaked everybody out, caused chaos and panic. And then the 2 people that he bit were praying because they were like, what the fuck? It just busted down these church doors. Okay, so after the attack in Bungay, modern day Suffolk, he travels a couple miles down to Blytheburg.
Blytheburg?
I think so.
That sounds like an undead community or something.
Welcome down to Blytheburg.
Yeah, it sounds like something from the Horde.
He's in the darkness of Blytheburg. The hounds of Blytheburg. Man, I've got it, man. I'm gonna write a book. That's
The
a great
bowels
really
of Blytheburg.
the what?
The bowels of Blytheburg. You said it.
The bowels of Blytheburg. Yeah.
So he gets to Blytheburg and he's like, I'm going to tear this place up. So he attacks another church. He kills 2 more congregants in that church and like destroys the steeple. So he just
everyone
like
got
whiffs
shucked in
in.
Suffolk.
Yeah.
Fuck those places.
So he disappeared quickly, supposedly leaving behind a burn mark on the church doors. So this was the Holy Trinity Church. And apparently you can visit the church and still see the burn marks on the door.
I want to see that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This section I call Christina's nonsense. So while I was doing my research for this story, I noticed that the Black Shuck was attacking and killing in like 2s. So he attacks 2 churches. He kills 2 people at each church, right? So 2, 2, 2. So I looked up some Christian numerological beliefs regarding the number 2. And you guys may know this. I don't know, but 2 symbolize the union between God and man. So I was like, is he like trying to pervert the union between God and man by like busting into these churches and killing praying congregants?
I mean, that's a way to do it.
I mean, that would work.
A real big fuck you to that union.
Does anyone object? Woof.
Lightning in the back.
Does anybody object? Woof.
I wouldn't even be mad if my wedding got interrupted that way. It's like, dude, that's metal.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Oh, here's a giant dog. He's gonna kill some people. Lightning strikes. Badass.
Okay.
The next pint's all to me, lads.
Well, I mean, there's some ways to go that are cooler than others. So, got mauled by a thunder summoning demon dog would make a pretty cool obituary.
Oh yeah.
That is a great way to put it. What did you say? Thunder summoning demon dog. Metal. That's
Okay.
a band name if I ever heard one. You can't hear. Speaking of dogs, that thought you can hear the whining dog.
Oh,
No.
I was wondering what that high pitched noise was
That's
every once in a
Courtney's
while.
dog. She put him in here. She put her in here for I don't know why. Shelby's a black dog. So I'm doing a little. She's
The Black
scared.
Shuck.
So I'm petting her and I'm trying to
Oh,
calm
so
her
her
down.
solution is to put the dog in the live recording session.
I guess. I
That's
don't
a
know.
brilliant idea. Thanks,
I don't.
Courtney.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. We're trying to do a job here. I don't know. I don't know why she said watch your knees. And I'm like, okay. So
Okay, well, Chris has a Black Shuck with him. So let's interview the Black Shuck while you
if
have
this was the Black
I'm
Shuck,
just kidding.
nobody has to worry about a damn thing. Shelby is scared of everybody. She
She
would be
was
like, "Oh my god, what am I
Just
gonna
like
do?"
a little bolt of static electricity.
Like Shelby would just be my sister's dog would just be like curled up somewhere, hiding with her tail between her legs. I'm not kidding, waiting for her owner Lucifer. Sorry, Courtney, to come and come and get her. I just compared my sister to the devil. I'm sorry.
she burst down those church doors because the lightning scared her so bad she ran in.
Yeah, and she'd be crapping all over herself as she was doing it. And it would be howling. It'd just be like the winds of Blytheburg. What the hell keeps whining on the cliffs? It's the devil dog that's scared of its own shadow.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, more of my nonsense.
More
So
nonsense.
you brought up the Cerberus. Okay. So a little bit more Greek connection here. So, the Greek goddess Hecate, she's typically depicted as having black dogs.
Yeah.
So they're for protection. For those who don't know, Hecate is the goddess of magic and witchcraft, but she's also like keeper of the keys to other realms. She's the crossroads goddess, so you can like make deals with her at crossroads.
Really?
And
That's not.
She sure has a lot of responsibility on her shoulders.
she does. She's
Still,
a
though,
very busy woman.
what kind of deals can you make with her? Like, if it's not for my soul, like Crossroad Demons or something.
Well, so this next point that I have, so she also protects women and like executes divine justice for crimes against women. So I guess a woman could summon her at a crossroads to get protection or exact some revenge upon the perpetrator or
Oh,
whatever.
okay. I wondered if it was like the old Crossroad deal with the devil, where like you could exchange something and she'd give you your heart's desire or something.
Crossroads, the Britney Spears movie.
Or yeah, just it's a copy of the Britney Spears movie, but it's going to be on VHS, so we hope you don't mind that.
Well, that was just really one example. I think you could work with Hecate to do a lot more than that, but that was just kind of like one example. So also in my research, Black Shucks showed up around crossroads a lot. So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of a cool tie. And so her hounds, I'm going to call them the hellhounds here, were the guardians of the gates to the underworld. So kind of like the Cerberus figure. Which also kind of links back to our wild hunt being connected to like taking you to the underworld. And her hounds are classically used as messengers. They can also be called upon for protection. And if you call upon Hecate, she might show up as a large black dog herself. So anyway, different areas of the world have like black dog mythology. And I was just wondering maybe if Christians may have taken this concept and like kind of demonized it as they like to do.
We do like to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought it was kind of a cool connection that I made, but maybe doesn't actually make sense, but I wanted to talk about it.
Well, did you mention at the beginning too, like the dog would show up a lot? I don't know if you remember, if you said this, it gets colder like during like the winter or whatever. So that might, and then you talk about like, we're talking about Hades and who's the ruler of the underworld, Hades, and that whole Greek legend of Persephone. It's like,
oh, right.
she's the goddess of the spring. So maybe like it's the dog that comes and gets Persephone because then it gets
Yeah.
colder, because it takes Persephone back down to the underworld to be
Yeah.
part of her agreement or something. I don't know.
That's a
I'm
cool
just kind of
thought.
I'm kind of just yeah spitballing with you too, like
Mhm.
maybe you know.
I just think it's really fun. But James, were you going to say something? I feel like I was about to
Nope.
interrupt you. Okay. You know how I like to interrupt people. Okay, so that was randomness, but I enjoyed thinking about that and wanted to talk about it. So we talked about that is the story of the attacks at Bungay. Like that's it. There's not a lot of information to
Well, that's it,
gather
guys.
from
Thanks for joining us.
1577.
Y'all have a great time. Please like and subscribe. The end.
And we talked some about the wild hunt, but so the Black Shuck, it's so there are ideas that float around that outside of the Black Shuck being, a real hellhound, that he actually represents like catastrophic natural disasters, particularly storms. So we already know that in Bungay, he burst down the doors with a bolt of lightning striking behind him. But apparently, both Bungay and Blytheburg were hit with massive thunderstorms. So that was possibly what caused the deaths of the congregants at each place and the damage to the church. But, things have a way of becoming more magical. And so, they might have just chalked it up to our good friend Black Shuck. Okay, so all of that being said, we're talking about a story from the 1500s, but apparently people still report sightings of the Black Shuck. And I did find like a photo, and I guess a lot of people try to take photos now since we have our cameras and everything. The photo it was really grainy, kind of like when you get a Bigfoot photo. It's always very grainy, you can't really tell what it is. But here's kind of an example of a little encounter in Norfolk. So it's very urban legendy is what is how it sounds. Man is driving down when he hits a big black dog that kind of appears out of nowhere. He winds up crashing his car into a tree where it bursts into flames. The driver survives and is taken to the hospital, but within days succumbs to injuries and dies. And that's it. But it's a modern one. And here's like a neat little thing I found.
So the dog just throws itself in the traffic. That's its thing.
Yeah, just to kill you.
It's kind of a lame.
It's like I like to watch the flames from afar. Reminds me of Christmas.
I like to watch my victims from under the car that just ran over me.
Well, I don't think they found like a dog body. I don't know. So he just jumped out, was like, "You're
a shuck and run, if you will."
Immediately. Yes, a shuck and run. All right, but so in May, a dog skeleton by a group called Dig Ventures at a medieval abbey. It's Leiston Abbey in Suffolk. It was about the size of a Great Dane, but people like went nuts saying it was the devil dog, like evidence of the Black Shuck.
Yeah, because when would you find dog bones? Those are extremely rare creatures.
Yes. We haven't been dealing with them for centuries. Okay, well, and you know what? That's about it. But I did want to ask you guys, have you ever had any encounters with, like mysterious dogs and things like that?
Well, I think we've well established that James has not had any paranormal encounters of any kind whatsoever.
All the dogs
I
know are really good boys.
They're really good boys.
Good boys and girls.
I don't think I've ever had any encounters with ghost dogs of any kind, but I've heard this legend. I've heard of this legend many times, the large black dog. And I'll have to go now look, but I even think I've heard stories of it here in America, in the United States.
Yeah. Well, okay. I have a personal potential encounter
What?
when I was a little girl. So,
Did you get shucked?
I got shocked.
You got shook, son. Crackle of thunder and lightning.
Okay, well, you guys know where we lived growing up.
Oh, yeah.
So I was probably like 10, and we were allowed to just run around until it got dark, right? So I was kind of staying out a little bit later. I was kind of close. Me and my friend from the neighborhood had gone down to a pasture that was at the end of the street. You guys might remember that pasture. They used to have horses and stuff. They had quite a bit of
Yes,
acreage right
I know what
there.
that was.
Mhm.
And in fact, we went to high school with the girl. That was well, I won't say her name, but we James and I graduated from high school with the girl whose family that was their property. I found out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I know that. I
Did they
knew that
have any
property.
demon dogs
No, but they had horses,
that tended to shuck people?
which I can tell you is I'll share that story after Christian's done though.
Okay. Well, okay, so there was that big pasture. So it has like some barbed wire fence, like they had it, uh trying to keep people out. Like I was totally trespassing. Me and my friend totally trespassed. I apologize, but I was 10. So you'll forgive me, I bet. Anyway, so me and my friend shimmy underneath the barbed wire fence, and we're like running around this pasture, and it's starting to get dark, and it's starting to get misty as well, very foggy. And so we had gone really far up the property to where they were like keeping the horses near the barn. Like we went really far. And so we were coming back because it was getting dark and I was going to get in trouble. So we're running back through this field, and me and my friend somehow get separated. I don't even know what happened to her. She disappears.
And she was
And
never seen again.
I did see her again. I don't remember. I think she just like jumped a fence because she lived right next to that pasture.
she
So I
had
think she
black
just jumped a
eyes.
fence right into her backyard.
She's like, Christina, can I use your bathroom?
May I come in and use your restroom?
I'm waiting for my parents. Bitch, I know your parents. They live down the street. What do you mean? What are you talking? What's going on?
So anyway, I'm trying to get out of this pasture because it's foggy and it's freaking me out. And I see in like a short distance away, or like 20 feet away, there was a dog, a big black dog, just sitting there looking at me.
And suddenly I heard AC/DC in the distance.
Bolt of lightning. No, but I've never been scared of dogs at all. I was always picking up stray dogs and like trying to befriend the most aggressive of dogs. And this dog was just sitting here. And James, I got a feeling of dread, like the Shadow People
Oh.
episode.
There are shadow animals.
Yes.
Shadow animal.
And I was really scared of that dog, and it was like blocking the way that I came in. So I like went around, like I tried to kind of run around the field a little bit, and I came back and it was gone and I was able to get out. But I was like, oh, that's maybe that was a Black Shuck encounter.
I like to think that you know how close the black dog is by how loud the AC/DC music is.
It was really loud. Anyway, we had a lot of strays. I'm sure it was a stray, but I've never been scared of dogs. So that was I guess it was just a spooky environment with the mist, and it was getting dark. And
Yeah, the closer you get to the dog, the louder you hear Axl Rose. Just
Yes.
So that's my Black Shuck story and personal encounter. Chris, you had something you were going to say.
Yes,
Tell us
and
of your shucking.
it was not a check, and it was not my experience, and it's not paranormal. I was just going to share the fact that it's a good thing that I never encountered this dog, because you've in Christina, have you ever been to Altus at my family, my
Yeah.
in-laws? Okay, so the two properties, like my parents-in-law live there, and then they're both sets of grandparents on each side, And it was very common. It's still very common. We walk over to Grandma Gertrude.
And The Simple Life was filmed there.
Yeah, it was. It's very common. And we walk back and forth because it's just one big property and it's country. We're fine. And my brother-in-law and then his two cousins were walking from Grandma's house back over to my parents-in-law's house at night. And they had no flashlight. And the moon luckily was full. And I will tell you, I walked it, and when the moon is full, it's beautiful, and it's just there's this glow, but you still can't really see.
Mhm.
And he tells me of how all of a sudden this gigantic, large animal comes out of nowhere and right at them, and of course scares the shit out of him until he realizes it's the neighbor's horse. And
Dang horses.
yeah, it's a horse. It gotten out, and it just but you can't make it out other than just it's a large animal of some kind
Yeah.
coming right at you. So
That
I
would
just
be scary.
yeah, but if it's the size of a horse, dread would be the least what I'd be feeling. I'd be feeling sheer terror.
I know.
Yeah, I would not take it well. Because I'm okay with dogs. I've been attacked and bitten by a dog, so
Same.
yeah. But at the same time, like my best friends, like James, he had big German shepherds, and and then of course little dogs like you guys had.
Yes, I'm used to big black dogs
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah. I got used to. I mean, I got used to big black dogs coming over to your house, every freaking night to hang out, because your mother had those two giant German shepherds, and then going over to Christina's house. They had their little dogs, and then even now, over the years, Christina's had an array of dogs. So,
Yeah,
but
we had German shepherds too. We had. Do you remember that poodle Asta? That standard poodle. Random, but do you remember?
I don't
him?
know.
Or were you friends with us? But was
I
that
don't know if I
before you?
was, because the first dog, I mean, you had Buddy when I came in, and I swear, Heather says that it wasn't. I swear I was there when Julie was brought home for the first time. I even remember having a pink bow around her or something, but your sister swears that no, that never happened, and that y'all got her before I was even around. I'm like, okay, but I distinctly remember when.
I can't recall.
Yeah, but but I'm fine with dogs. It's just, but I've never encountered anything of that nature. I've heard about it quite a bit. That is actually a very common folklore.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I hope I never encounter anything like that, because I will poop myself.
Hellhound.
The hellhound of Blackburg.
I'd be torn between fear and being really impressed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think I might. There might be a part
Who's a
where
good
I'm like,
boy?
I'd just be like,
This is terrifying, but also kind of awesome.
yeah, like what is that? Like, I don't know. But
So where is that AC/DC even coming from?
yeah, man.
Its howl is actually just ACDC.
Axl Rose.
All
Doesn't
right.
howl.
Well,
it just like opens its mouth and just music. The guitar solo starts coming out.
Yes.
So, but
so
yeah.
I would want that dog as a mount.
Oh, he means
The kind of dog you ride in a battle on.
yeah, that would be dope.
I thought you meant like you want his head mounted on your wall. I'd be like, oh,
No.
that's metal. Like, you came into my church with Thunderstruck, and I fucking killed it. Now I wear it on.
No, I want the Black Shuck to be my war steed.
Your war steed. And he'll be playing
would be
AC/DC in the
horrifying.
battle.
Heck yeah.
He'll be playing it. I'll be like, but yeah.
All right. So that was the story of the Hellhound of Bungay, or just the regular old Black Shuck.
No relation to the cream.
No relation. It's not Bungay. It's like Bungay. Bungay.
Yeah, it's Bunjay.
Is
It's
that the
in
cream
Suffolk.
for bunnies?
It's in Suffolk. It's in Suffolk.
Yes, the great shucking of Suffolk.
I looked it up while we were talking because I was like, how is it spelled?
Oh, I saw it with a G everywhere I was looking.
You
But
can get
so
a
maybe
shirt
it's
that says, I
Bunjay.
got shucked in Suffolk.
So if it's a J, maybe it's Bungay.
I say it's Bungay.
Oh, I thought you said J
No,
earlier.
G. No, it's Bunga. If I said J, I was wrong. It's
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's
No, we're on the
bun
same page
gay.
then.
It's bun gay. Bun gay. I don't know. I don't know how you say that. If you're from England and you're from Gay or Suffolk or anywhere and you know the place, you could be like, it's bun gay.
Yeah, sorry, it sounds embarrassing when I say it, but it sounds probably really nice with a British accent.
I don't know. I mean, I found some videos. It looks like a beautiful little town or big town. I can't really tell, but it looks beautiful.
Well, thanks for joining us. And don't forget that we do accept donations now. If you don't want us to starve to death, you could contribute a little bit there.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, we're not going to really starve to death, but if you
No,
need
no, we
motivation,
will. We will quite literally
To death.
die.
Yes.
No, but anyway, yeah. Yeah, you can you can send your personal spooky stories to us if you'd like to share those and have them on like a listeners episode someday.
yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah,
You can
share
email
us
those.
your stories. And hey, if you've seen a big giant black dog, email us. Let us know.
If you've been
Mhm.
shucked,
if you've been
Yes.
chucked. Yeah.
You can send those to littlepodcasthorrors@gmail.com.
Yeah. If you've had a metal experience with a dog and lightning striking while AC/DC plays in the background, share it with us, because damn, that's an awesome story. So anyway.
All right. And also don't forget to leave us a nice review, follow, or share. If you didn't like it, then just
We're
don't
sorry.
leave a review.
We're such a needy folks. Just give
please
us
like
praise.
us.
Please give us money. Please like us. Please praise us. Or else we might be shocked by the devil.
All content creators are basically just begging, so come on.
Yeah, we're all just
We're
like,
not
please,
above it.
please, would you please share with us? We need
All
it.
right. Thank you for
All right.
tuning in.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
LS Char.
I knew he was gonna say.